All right. All right. So first question, I wanted to start with a very basic one. So what is your favorite manga?
Homie can't communicate.
Deep silence descends.
I thought he said homie can't communicate. I was like, okay.
Oh, Kobe, Kobe.
That's a new manga.
Kobe can't communicate. Konosuba.
Brother came prepared.
I don't know why, but that doesn't surprise me. So
Yeah, no.
I've got my friend to start watching Combatants Will Be Dispatched, which I think is actually written by the same guy who wrote Konosuba.
That's pretty cool.
nice, nice.
It's a fucking funny one.
Yeah, my favorite manga, unfortunately, Golden Kamuy falls from the top spot because I think the Grand Blue manga is actually better than Golden Kamuy. Also, JoJo's manga is just
Really good.
chef's kiss.
I do actually have.
Yeah,
Vagabond is myself.
Yeah, Vagabond is one that would also makes the list for me for like the top 3.
This guy's.
I'd have to put Vagabond over Finland Saga because Vagabond is just great. Part of me wishes that Vagabond one day gets an anime adaptation, but there's always the risk that it ends up like Berserk.
Yeah.
Have you,
Oh,
have you guys read the manga for Evangelion?
No.
I've heard it's weird, but no.
Like
I've heard it's
different
weird, but
ending.
I haven't read it.
I saw this video. This woman, she said she really liked Evangelion so much so that she went to read the Bible afterwards because of all the biblical
Oh, I think
references.
I've
Yeah,
seen
it
I saw
is
that.
like
And
apparently
she picked up
the
Francis
manga is like
Christian.
so much more biblical than the anime.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
all right.
So does that mean the Bible counts as a manga?
No.
Yes.
Well, technically,
No, wait,
technically,
the
there
manga-
is a
the-
manga about the Bible.
The Bible is a light novel.
Oh,
There's nothing fucking light about
Oh
it.
god. It's just
oh
heavy
my
novel.
god.
Consumer getting a massive haul of manga. What is it?
All right.
Ooh, look at.
Wanna know
look
my
at the
favorite one?
games.
This. Can you see it?
Oh yeah,
yes.
One Piece. I have a couple of One Piece ones as well, but
It's
they're the terrible Finnish
only-
translations.
Manga that
I bought the first volume of One Piece ages ago and I sold it because I got bored of it.
Same, and that leads me up to something I want to talk about. You might
Is it
notice
the
that
first
this
volume,
volume
like,
is very special looking. For example,
Ooh,
it
isn't
has
that like the first first
cover.
edition one?
yeah. Want to know why it's
Those
in
are
this cover?
Stupid expensives.
Because I stole this from school.
This
So, yes.
guy.
He
Fuck.
did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong.
He did the death sentence. He deserves a death sentence
Hey,
for that
what
one.
can I do, man? I graduated. I can't be walking into
He
schools.
saved that volume. Nah, no, for real.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, he
if,
saved it.
It would
He
be
saved
loved
it.
by me. But that is my
Yeah,
favorite
God
manga.
damn it.
What about you, anime? What's your favorite manga?
Well, as much as people would be inclined to think that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but the fact that I
Is it Fate?
talk a lot about it. No, it's my favorite manga is Berserk, and
okay.
I was telling you the story on how I almost started the manga, you know, in 2014 when I was like at the beginning of my manga journey, but I actually read it like in 2022 for the first actually read it, and it was like one of these mangas that I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, and till this day, like. Everything from the storytelling, the arting, the art, the character journey of Guts is one of my favorite in all of the media. In fact, quick 3D. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show it here, but I have the brand of sacrifice tattooed.
Oh,
That's
really?
crazy.
That's
And
cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna send the photo later in the group chat, but.
I have a confession. I've never read Berserk.
Oh.
I've been meaning to read it, but I've been reading Vagabond and Vinland Saga and Kingdom, and Berserk is like the fourth one in that big group of seinen manga, but I've just never gone around it.
Well, I've got the first
No, yeah,
manga,
the
and I
same
read
thing
2 of
happened
them on
to
the
me,
plane to
kinda.
Malta.
Like for years, I've put it like in a pedestal, trying to, I'm gonna read it one day, and then unfortunately, the passing of Kentaro Miura happened,
Yeah.
and it kind of was like the trigger. Like I remember, I started reading it like on the second anniversary or the first anniversary of his death, and I was like, no, what? I'm enjoying this too much, and I know that there's not gonna be an end to that because that was before like they announced it that they were gonna continue the manga and
Yeah.
everything.
Has
But
the
it
continuation
was
started already?
yes, but they are on a hiatus right now. So
Okay. Is it any good? Like, is it Kentaro Miura levels of good,
yeah,
or is it?
I would say like the art is very similar. There, of course, you can notice that like it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, the author that is doing the art and the story right now, he was a big friend of Miura, so he knows
Yeah.
how Miura wanted the story to end. So he's just
Okay.
gonna basically do what Kentaro would have done. So
Okay. Yeah.
For me personally,
So it's
I quite liked where the manga left off, to be honest. Like, it wasn't like a conclusive ending in terms of the plot, but I feel like for the characters, there were sort of like three main characters in Berserk, and it was sort of them like reuniting again, and it was like a little bit of like a cathartic moment, and I thought it wasn't a bad place to end off of. So me personally, I've not even touched the new stuff.
yeah, I understand why people like wouldn't want to, do it because there's always like that thing, that idea that they're not doing this to honor the legacy of the author, or
Yeah.
it's the story could have ended there. But in this particularly case, I would say that I'm on board with that for now. So let's see how they're gonna bring the rest of the story in.
Yeah, because like
And
I do get the whole thing of like he died, so maybe we should leave it alone. Because the other side of that leaf is something like Amazon's Rings of Power, that just butchering anything
Yes.
Tolkien ever stood for.
It's it's very like quick tangent because I know that we can lose too much time. It's it's kind of strange, when we're talking about like these properties that are not physical, that are like because you don't know exactly what the author would have done or would have wanted.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, like with let's say writers like Alan Moore and stuff like that. But in the act of someone that really how can I say it, basically dedicated his whole life to this story.
Yeah.
Like it's I think a part of me would want his final work to be out there, so that him, so that the thing that he basically, I don't want to say sacrifice his life for it, but the thing that he basically gave his life to would be completed. But then again, let's say, what if the producers don't like what he's cooking, and then he's like, no, let's do something else. Let's change everything up and fuck up the whole story.
Yeah, like it's fine if there's like, for example, going back to my Tolkien analogy, because they released two of his like unfinished stories were then finally compiled into like full-on books.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think that's cool, but the moment when you go like, nah, we want to change what this guy made and still like use his IP, then it's kind of like, why?
Yeah.
It's quite a similar thing to Dune, actually, because I think the Dune books written by Frank Herbert, there's maybe 6, 7 of them, and there was meant to be either 1 or 2 more books that would finish the entire series, but he died before he could release it. And what ended up happening was his son was the one who ended up finishing the series based on his like manuscript or whatever. But there's a very distinct like change in like storytelling from where his son started writing it and where he stopped. And on top of that, his son also went up to write a lot of extra works, like to flesh out the world, which were completely just based on his own ideas. And those works feel very separate from the mainline Dune stuff. So I guess like that's just like to show, maybe even if it's like someone who's close to the person or someone who knows them well, it's not a guarantee even that like it'll be up to like the original.
Like that's the reason why things like Tolkien's works, especially, like it took so long to get anything else other than like Silmarillion is just a collection of Tolkien's notes, and then there's the one called the Unfinished Tales, which is the same thing, and like it was, I think, I want to say like 40 years. It's not quite that long, but it's a couple of decades until they compiled. Like there are 2 almost finished stories in the Silmarillion that they then compiled into the Húrin's Children and the Fall of Gondolin. And even those, like, there are still segments that kind of feel like this is different.
Yeah.